Hello and welcome to Bat Flips and Nerds, the baseball podcast with a British twist. I am your host this evening, Ben Carter, and I'm joined by two baseball luminaries and cat lovers. The first being the new cat parent, Rob Navera. How are you, Rob?
Cat dadding it up. Yeah, absolutely. They are little bastards who eat everything. They ate a 9-pack of crumpets overnight. I left crumpets sealed pack of crumpets. They ate a 9-pack of crumpets. And if you consider how big a crumpet is, that's the equivalent of me eating a sofa overnight. Other than that, yeah, they're glorious.
And our grizzled veteran of cat parenting, John McGee, is here, reveling in Rob's misery. How are you, John?
Yeah, well, we need to change the name of the podcast to Cat Dads and Nerds or something like that. I think just for this one episode. Yeah, it's good. It's good to be here. We've established that both Rob and my ambience is cat toilet in the background. If there's anything hedonistic that comes out and you feel like we might be under the influence of some weird hallucinogenics, that's what it is. Cat litter. There you go.
See if the YouTube algorithm likes that. For those listening, it's not pictured. Don't worry. You can still tune in without seeing cat litter. We've got plenty to get through today. It's been a little while since our last pod, and a very long while actually since we've had John on. So excited to get some takes from you on the things happening around baseball. But we thought we'd start maybe with some topics a bit closer to home. Very sad, I am anyway, that there's no MLB London series this year. We're kind of around the time of year that has typically happened in the past. Obviously this year, a down year, a fallow year, in the words of Glastonbury. So we will instead be waiting.
Don't talk about Glastonbury. Not when I'm an employee of the BBC. That's just going to get me into all sorts of trouble this week, Ben. Carry on. Sorry.
Shouldn't have brought it up. But instead of MLB London series, we have, as of last week, had an announcement about an event taking place in London instead, which is going to be called the MLB Hackney Bridge Takeover. We're a little short on details right now, but we do know it will be taking place on the weekend of the 1st to the 3rd of August. It'll be taking place, funnily enough, at Hackney Bridge. And there is some details about there being representation of 4 teams, the biggest teams, some might say, I guess, Dodgers, Yankees, Giants, Red Sox. Each will have a themed zone. There will be game watch-alongs, immersive baseball experiences, and obviously more details to come very soon. It'll all be free to attend, which is great. And it feels like, whilst it's not a game in and of itself, it feels like a nice replacement in terms of just something that we can go to, rally around, enjoy, chat with other baseball fans at, given that we don't have the game to go to this year. So I know you guys don't have a ton to react to in terms of details from what was shared, but I'm interested to hear, A, your thoughts on whether this has been a weirder summer of baseball for you without the London game in the middle of it, and B, what you would like to see from this Hackney Bridge event and what you think could help pull fans in a year where they don't have the game here. Let's start with you, John.
Yeah, it has been slightly odd. I mean, it's been odd not to have that opportunity for us all to get together and meet the people who listen to the show, watch the show on YouTube, and who we're in contact with through Discord groups and WhatsApp groups and stuff. So primarily for that reason, it's been odd not to have that anchor around which I plan the rest of my summer, to be honest. But yeah, and it really does sort of galvanize your focus. I'm not saying I haven't been watching baseball. I absolutely have. I have it on all the time. But at the same time, it's right, if I know that I need to be locked in on these teams, and instead I have, I'm not quite at Tom Pringle level, but I have mostly been focused on Red Sox baseball and then watching whatever's on. I'm tuning into TNT and seeing what's on every now and again, but I would every year be right, well, it's the Phillies and it's the Mets, so I need to understand who are on those teams, who's good, what are they doing, what's at stake here, what are the storylines that I need to understand, so we can have a conversation about it, we can try and chat to some of the players about it and stuff like that. So there's not been that extra wrinkle, so that has been a bit of a shame. I do think it's great that the MLB Europe guys are doing something. I had heard this. Obviously we're part of the MLB Europe fan network now with the MLB UK Clubhouse guys. So they had told us that they were planning something, and to be clear, we don't have any more details than what's in the public domain now. So I was anticipating something, and I'm really glad to see it. I think it's a great place for it to be. That's really close to the ballpark when there've been series on there in the past, we've tended to congregate around there, and there's some really good breweries, really cool restaurants. It's a really nice vibe around there. The Mets held a really great pre-game event in that part of London last year, which we had an opportunity to pop into. A real party atmosphere around there, so it's the perfect place to be doing it. I'm at a friend's wedding. I think we're going to be quite poorly represented that weekend, if I understand rightly. I think it might only be you, Ben, right? It's just the timing couldn't be worse in terms of us having, other things on. So, yeah, I'm a bit frustrated. It's not 1 week either side, which would have been perfect for me. But hey, I'm sure that you'll have plenty of tequila on my behalf, mate, won't you?
Do my best. Yeah, it's a shame. I know that, Tom can't make it, Darius, Russell even. Rob, are you around that weekend, or are you also
I have a
incapacitated?
ridiculous Saturday family engagement, but if I can, I will ditch those losers and try and get there.
Fingers crossed. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure it will be a great event. And I'm interested, I guess, in terms of what we think will be there, my guess is, food
Johnny
trucks
Gomes and Nick Swisher, probably.
Yeah, they're always there. I think live in London at this point. I'm sure there'll be food trucks of some kind, some sort of throwing or hitting activation space, pubs, anything that you'd like to see there, Rob, that you think could help capture the interest of the British public, or anything that you conversely would love for not to be there.
Yes, absolutely. First and foremost, some shade would be lovely. We all remember the home run derby. That was a little bit warm. There was one tree for 10,000 people or whatever it was. So as long as there's somewhere shady to sit, a lot of hot baseball this year. Like, it's hot right now. It's been exceedingly hot when I was in the US this year. So yes, just some shade would be absolutely lovely. I tell you what, something I've missed that they did in the first time round. I want to pelt a ball at a washing machine again. That was great fun first time round.
Yeah, that was good.
Like, we've had the VR stuff. We could throw a ball and see how fast it's gone. Great, wonderful. I want to pelt something every day with a baseball again and break it, because that was really fun. So yeah, if they could bring that back, that'd be super. What else we got? Some merch, some interesting merch. I think they did a really good job in the Phillies Mets game, where it wasn't just your basic stuff. Like, they had some interesting shirts that were a bit different. Becky picked up a couple when we were there. It was different, and it marked the occasion. So yeah, some merch.
Are you talking about the haunted Hawaiian, the Phillies and Mets Hawaiian shirt it was the New Era one that we had to buy?
One, yeah,
we had to go and buy for Trevor May.
Yes, exactly,
More of
something
that.
like that. I want more controversial merchandise. Yeah, like give me a Yankees Red Sox blend scarf.
Half and half scarf.
A half and half scarf. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, give me some controversial merch that works to our audience. I'll take some of that. What else can we have? I'd like some constant baseball to watch. I think it's important that we're not just there to eat food, buy merch. We actually are there to watch some baseball as well. Like, let's have stuff on the big screens. Trafalgar Square, I thought in the last couple of years there was a lot of short clips and stings. A bit more just like, here is a baseball game, watch this. Even if it's not on yet, let's put on yesterday's. Let's have something to watch. That'd be great. Washing machines, I've said, yeah. Oh, and player hosts, yeah. Let's have some hosts who actually know what they're talking about. Max has done a great job over the last couple of years. So if he comes back, happy with that, no problem at all. But let's have some hosting from, rather than your generic hype person who's paid to be a hype person. Let's have someone who knows what they're talking about. Let's have maybe some fans, maybe some players, whatever. But yeah, let's get someone in like that. I think that would draw it in a bit and make it a bit good. But yeah, you know what? It's something rather than nothing, and it's free.
Everything you're saying here, I'm just hearing more work for Felix White, the man who can't get enough of the MLB dollar. He's quite busy. He's quite busy with his Mets, touring his Mets amp. Felix can bring his Mets amp. Definitely. I want to see that. I want to see Felix playing out some Maccabees licks on the Mets amp. That's going to be opening the show. With a bit of Pelican or Latch Me or something. That's how we're starting
deep diving
it off.
now.
Those are two of their bigger hits, Rob. a band I genuinely like. There you go. Get Felix along. Hopefully, why don't they bring along his compadres? Why don't we have the brilliant Melanie and Xavier again? I don't know how you would bring them into it, but they would be good. I'm assuming there's going to be some reps of all four of the teams, as I said, Johnny Gomes and Nick Swisher. Which absolute randos are they going to get from the Dodgers and the Giants? That's going to be my question. What do you reckon, Ben? Who fulfills that sort of level of sort of good but random from those two teams? Is it Pablo Sandoval?
Pablo would be great. My mind went to just how extraordinarily upset Darius would be if Tim Lincecum showed up. That would be awesome. Don't see it happening.
Hunter Pence, surely.
Hunter Pence, he's got to be. Get him along. And for the Dodgers,
Brandon Belt. 2 weeks in a row.
For some reason, my mind immediately went to Emilio Pagan.
It's got it for somebody, hasn't it?
It's a relief to most people that we aren't organising this event based on some of the names.
Who from the Dodgers, when they were sort of pretty poor in the pre Todd Bowley era, he was on that team then. Apart from Adrian Gonzalez, well, that was the start of the Bowley era, wasn't it? Beltre, not remembered really as a Dodger, but yes, please.
Greinke, let's get him.
Yeah,
Greinke would be
great. Imagine Max Whittle trying to God bless him, an absolute pro, trying to get something out of Greinke. Genuinely, absolutely. If that's happening, I love those people whose wedding it is. Not going,
dropping it. Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, Michael and Hannah, I won't be there for your big day. Zach Greinke and Max Whittle is on.
Sorted. Well, I've had a quick look at the schedule for that weekend, and there are some good games on, actually, and there's some games at very watchable times. So I think your point to having baseball on to watch will be met, Rob. We've got Dodgers Rays series. That will be fun for you and other Rays fans, I guess. Astros Red Sox, Giants Mets, Tigers Phillies. There's a lot of good series on that weekend. So look, I think
what's the bad series? Come on, what's the bad series?
Any involving
Pirates
the Rockies?
White Sox.
Yes, I want that one.
White Sox Angels. Anyone?
White Sox Angels is quite poor.
It's miserable.
That's a team who is somehow okay and yet has no players you want to watch apart from Mike Trout versus just the White Sox. I think the White Sox in some ways are more miserable than the Rockies. At least in the Rockies, you're like, wow. This is just extraordinarily bad. The White Sox people have just forgotten, which in some respects is sadder.
At least they got rid of Andrew Vaughn, who was the general picture of sad, head down, sat at the dugout at the end of every loss when they're reporting it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Gavin Sheets is the Padres' best player. Anyway, the final thing on this topic, I thought we could maybe, and again, as far as I'm aware, we don't have any insider information on this, but I thought we could just speculate a bit on which teams we would like to see come to London next year. We've obviously had a few games over here now involving some of the, should we say, larger market teams. I'm interested in whether MLB stick to that tried and tested formula, whether we see any of those teams come back for a second time, which hasn't happened yet, or in which direction they go. I've felt like the Blue Jays are probably overdue a visit just because of how many Canadians are in the UK, how big that team is from that perspective, and the fact they're an East Coast team that makes the travel a bit easier. As for who they would play, I don't know. It feels like an AL East rival would make the most sense, but which of those teams, I'm not sure. Is there anyone that you guys think would be particularly fun, or anything that you think would make sense for one reason or another?
I mean, the obvious answer is Dodgers Giants. Like the two big. They're even kind of forecasting that a little bit with this Hackney Bridge event. But I do wonder if West Coast is maybe pushing it a little bit. So if we're talking about big franchises and maybe who the Blue Jays could play, I'd quite maybe like to see them in Detroit. The Tigers, I think they're good now. Fun. And they've got a real a bit of history and vibe about them. So yeah, I could see the Tigers and the Blue Jays.
I like that one. Yeah, the David Price rivalry. Yeah, I was going to say the Red Sox is an obvious one for the Blue Jays, but I think thinking outside the box, I think that because I'm like Rob. Obviously, Giants and Dodgers is where your mind obviously goes. Or like the two Texas teams, Houston and the Rangers would be brilliant too, and that might be better because they're on Central Time, so that might actually be feasible. And given how hot it usually is on those weekends, they'll just be absolutely fine in terms of the temperature. And also, Rangers obviously playing a stupid, weird ballpark. So, again, completely normal for them. So they would fit. And then I was like, what about the AL Central? Because obviously we've had the big NL Central rivalry. But then there's just a load of crap teams. So, apart from the Tigers now, the Tigers are actually good now. But then who would they play? Like the Guardians?
Do we need good teams?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think you probably still do, right? It's not, to me, it's, I remember having this conversation before the first one, and we were like, it could be anyone, and it would sell out, right? It could be the Rays and the Rockies, and it would have sold out.
How dare you.
Whereas we know that they have sold out, but it's been a bit more difficult for subsequent years. So I do think they probably want to keep bringing the marquee franchises until it has its own impetus. You know, we weren't getting the Jacksonville Jaguars every year for the NFL games until they'd been on for 10 years, right? So, yeah, from their point of view, I mean, look, I obviously think it would be brilliant if it was the Guardians versus the Pirates, for example, for the supremacy of Ohio. But will it sell any tickets? I mean, unfortunately, I feel a degree of skepticism towards that.
I think we could give the A's and Rays their biggest audience of the year. I think that would be fun. And we only have to do about a quarter full. So
I also realised I just moved the Pirates into a different state and pitched them against not the team that's right next to them. Yeah, if I was going to go for the Ohio border, I could have said Pittsburgh and Cincinnati because they are actually next to each other. My American geography
hate each other.
Clearly awful. Anyway, yeah, there's some thoughts, Ben.
I like the idea of Rays versus A's, and winner keeps the ballpark, and just do it that way. Let's move on then to. Final point on that was just to say, even though that Hackney event will be very exciting, there are also other events taking place this year in the UK for fans. I was at one on Sunday. The fine folks at MLB UK Clubhouse are still putting on some really fun events for fans to get to. I think the first couple this year have both been in London, but I know they're very keen for fans in other parts of the country to basically help organise events. They will help a lot with the promotion. They will try and make a success of it. They want to try and create these sort of little bubbles in different parts of the UK that people can then go to and watch games with fellow fans at. It was great fun. Good to see some familiar faces for the first time in a long time. We were at Passyunk in Nine Elms, which is a really good sports bar, a pain to get to, but lovely when you get there. So yeah, shout out to those guys for the hard work putting on those events, and to the fans who went along. And yeah, do get involved with them if you're interested in just setting up something where you can go watch baseball with your mates.
And if you want to get in touch with them, then just drop us a line, right? Drop us a DM on Instagram or on any other social media, or drop a comment below here, or drop us a message on YouTube. And we can put you in touch with George and Nick. They are really desperate for people to be putting on events in Manchester, Glasgow, Newcastle, Leeds, Belfast, Dublin, wherever it is that you're watching and listening. There's other baseball fans, and this would be a really great way to get to know them.
Couldn't have said it better. Let's move on to All-Star voting then. Do we care? Maybe we're going to talk about it either way.
No, because my team sucks.
Sorry, yes.
Yes, I care about talking about it. Yes, also, I really care.
We're very close to the All-Star game now, which is weird. I think it's only a week or two away. As of recording, the starters for each position are going to be announced tonight on MLB Network. This is on Wednesday. And the full rosters will be announced, I believe, on Sunday. So some of this might age poorly based on whatever happens tonight.
Essentially, everything we're going to say is going to be immediately out of date by the time you listen to this.
Well, the way it's working this year is a bit different, right? Because they've got these, this is now phase 2 of voting. It took me a while to get my head around exactly how this has all worked compared to the previous years where you just click names and smash vote 25 times. It's more nuanced this year in that we've already had phase 1. you missed that. And phase 2 is happening now. And so it's a very narrowed down field of finalists that you can now vote for, effectively 2 players at each position, 5 in the outfield. So already we kind of know who the big names are that are likely to be involved and who the big names are that aren't. Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge are the 2 captains of the AL and NL. Don't know what that means, but good for them. That feels like a good decision.
I wonder how.
And then,
they
the final voting will be taking place tonight. Plenty of teams that haven't been represented.
That wasn't
at all.
meritocratic, was it? There was no democracy involved in that.
I think it was based on the top vote getters in phase 1.
Right, so it was
It's like
democratic.
proportional representation. You
Reasonable.
vote for Lib Dems, you get the Tories.
bit of politics there for everyone.
Pivot. And so, so yeah, we have positions all up for grabs in both National League and American League. I guess I'll throw it to you guys. John, you first. Yeah, do you care about who makes the All-Star team? I think it's like a nice accolade for players to get the nod for having a good season. But are you going to tune into it? Are you going to be bothered about who's playing in it? Does the home run derby do anything for you? How do you feel about the All-Star game?
Well, I quite like the home run derby, I've got to say. I do quite enjoy watching that. I don't buy into this notion that it cocks up the swing of players. I think that's absolute horse shit. But I like watching that. The All-Star game, I do quite like it. Like, I don't go out of my way to watch it, but if there's a rerun of it on, an afternoon and I've got a quiet one at work and I can put it on in the background, then I would quite like to see it. It's not like, All-Star games in other sports. The one in the NBA is notorious for being played at half pace, and the one in the NFL, like, no one shows up, right?
Literally flag football now.
It is actually played at a decent degree of competitiveness, and I have to say I quite admire that, because it doesn't have to be. I think there's something in the nature of the sport that you kind of can't half cock it, really. If you were going to throw the ball at 50 miles an hour, it would just be a complete farce. So they just can't do it. So yeah, as a spectacle, I think it works quite well. It doesn't really matter to me who's playing in it, though. I mean, as I said, particularly because my team stinks, and the only player who would have been good enough to play in it, they traded to the flipping Giants. And then, Alex Bregman. You vote for Alex Bregman. He's injured. He's literally not going to play, even if he wins the vote, which he shouldn't, because Jose Ramirez is better than him anyway. Like, come on. So, like, from that point of view, from a partial point of view, I don't really care. I just like to see the best players. So I don't have a Cal Raleigh top, but I do have Mark Maguire showing his huge dumper. So I wore that specifically. That's my rooting interest in the All-Star game this year. That said, I do think Carlos Narvaez should be in the vote, because he's the best player in baseball.
Let's get on to some snubs then. Rob, a couple from your team. Who are you most unhappy not to see in phase 2 of All-Star game voting?
Snubs. Okay, I've got a list. So, I mean, the first one I think is Jeremy Pena, and I think this is twofold. So, the reason Jeremy Pena, I mean, he is injured now, so it's probably not a problem. But the reason Jeremy Pena hasn't got the vote is largely down to the fact that since the cheating scandal, no one votes for the Astros. They don't get the votes. Yet for some reason, injured Alex Bregman, who was on the team when that happened, has got the votes, and Jeremy Pena, who wasn't, has fallen foul of the Astros curse. So that feels like a really, really unjust snub.
I don't get the Bregman thing, by the way, because, like, notoriously Red Sox fans don't vote in these things. So, like, how has Bregman got through now that he's no longer on the... He must have seemed well liked. There's no Boston fans to vote for it. Yeah. Sorry, Rob.
So, yeah, Pena's probably my number one. Jonathan Aranda. It is ridiculous that he's not in it. He is, by far, look at any metric across AL first baseman, he's the best. There's just not an argument there yet. Yeah, Vladimir Guerrero and all of Canada have voted him in, and the Yankees have voted Paul Goldschmidt in. Both of those players, there is no argument for either of them being as good as Jonathan Aranda. So that's a snub that's not fair. Byron Buxton, another guy from a team who is just not that on vogue. Like, he's been immense. He's been really quietly immense because he's playing for the Twins, and whoever talks about the Twins. But we've got Javi Baez and Mike Trout elected, who are, their combined WAR is not the same as Byron Buxton's. Like, it's just a farce. So yeah, those would be my. Oh, and James Wood, can't not mention the fact that James Wood has missed out here. Immense, fantastic first season. Like, he is brilliant. Well, second season, but he's immense. The fact that he's not in the shortlist is bizarre. So
is the thing about
those
Wood?
are mine.
Is the thing about Wood not though that he's obviously been good all season, but he's been like spectacularly good for the past 3 weeks. Like, all
During
of
the voting
these
phase.
absolute miss up, but he was already out by then. Like, these absolute nukes that he's been hitting at like 120 miles an hour, that's been like the last 3 weeks, and that's when people have started to talk about it. Because the other one that was on my list, back to like first base, and I think again it's like recency has been the challenge, is Nick Kurtz. Again, if you want like the players who are the most fun to watch right now, he absolutely is on that list because he just cannot stop hitting dingers. So I definitely want him over Jacob Wilson. I mean, come on. I mean, bloody, it's like watching Paul Collingwood nerdle out 170 not how that. No thanks. I mean, I would like to watch Paul Collingwood nerdle out 170 not out, bring him back. But you know,
Bridge.
Yeah, get Collie down there. Imagine Felix if Collie showed up. Bloody hell. There'll be two on the old Met, Sam. I can hear a cat. There you go.
Yes,
Is your cat into Paul Collingwood?
Apparently so, yeah. She's going a bit mental right now. She's seeing things that aren't there. I'm a little bit scared of demons. But anyway, yeah.
Well, I think we've covered, most of the snubs. The only other one I had was Corbin Carroll, who I think has since got a little bit injured, but he was having an excellent season and hopefully will continue that once he's healthy again. I mean, I guess we do find every year, like, there are guys who either get injured between roster announcement on the game, and obviously with the pitchers, a bunch of them end up not being available for whatever reason, scheduling-wise, leading up to the game. So I'm sure a lot of the snubbed players will end up sneaking onto a roster.
Wood is definitely going to be picked. There are no other Washington Nationals who are going to take that place ahead of him. Hence why I feel perfectly comfortable about my bro, Carlos Narvaez. He is definitely going to be in the All-Star team, All-Star squad for the AL.
Yeah, there are a few teams where it's tricky to find a worthy representative, but fortunately, we don't have that job.
Hey, Aroldis Chapman's going to be back in the All-Star game. Aren't we all glad about that?
Oh.
Good old Aroldis.
Looking forward to seeing him close it out, guys.
Great.
Hey, just as one really horrible pitcher wanes, another one comes back. We're not talking about him, but everyone knows who I'm talking about. Lol.
Enormous lol. Let's talk about a pitcher that we do like. A very tall lefty named Tarik Skubal. Don't know if you've heard of him, but he's making a bit of a name for himself, the reigning AL Cy Young Award winner, if he hadn't caught your attention last year.
Who's that?
He's good, isn't he? I don't really have much more to say than that. Sunday Night Baseball, I obviously didn't watch it, but I saw the highlights. And if for anyone who was a casual fan in the US who thought, I'll just tune into the game tonight and see what the fuss is about, got a pretty good representation of what the fuss is about. I think he struck out 11, including 7 or 8 in a row at one point. He's been lights out basically for the whole season, but especially in the last 2 months or so. Correct me if you think I'm wrong, that he has established himself as the best pitcher in baseball, basically without comparison at this point. Like, Skeens is awesome, Yamamoto's awesome, DeGrom's been great, but I think Skubal, with his body of work over the last 18 months, is the best in the game right now. And I guess my question is, best in the game since who? My mind went to Jacob deGrom and that crazy run he did have with the Mets. I guess it must have been 5+ years ago now, when he pitched to whatever it was, a 1.68 ERA or something insane, and kept losing games. But yeah, to me it feels like Skubal's reached that level of dominance. Who does he remind you of? Who would you put up against him over the last decade in terms of pitchers at the top of their game, Rob?
You can't think too far past Clayton Kershaw when he was at his peak. That sort of 2018, 2019 era. He was, all fantasy people were drafting him number 1. It was, he was going over Trout, and I think at that point he was ascendant, untouchable, and Skubal's kind of got that right now. Like, it was unfortunate he had a rough outing in the end of the playoffs last year when they went out. because that's really the only sort of dent in his armor in the last 2 years. The guy's just been the absolute bomb ever since. And so, yeah, I mean, Kershaw for me, that's who he's reminding me of. I can't, he's that. Okay, we're going to lose this game. They had a chance of it was a double header, and it was Skubal and Skeens, and they could have gone up against each other. And there was a chicken out element there. I was like, well, no, let's go them. Let's trade a game each.
Let's split.
Absolutely, yeah. So, he's got that fear factor right now. Like, you do not want to go and play against Tarik Skubal. He's absolutely unhittable. So, yeah, give me Kershaw, Pete Kershaw versus Skubal. That's a pretty game.
I'm going to tell you mine in a second, but when you put this in our running order this evening, sorry, I'm going to talk a little bit of Red Sox, but I am going to talk about Tarik Skubal, because I think the comparison between him and Crochet is super interesting, because they are the two best left-handed pitchers in the sport right now, but they're so different. They're both power pitchers. They've both got amazing stuff, but Crochet is just all massive effort. He's got the massive leg kick, and it's all like guts, and he's sort of yelling, and whereas Skubal is just absolutely just I am the best, like DeGrom was in his pomp. That's an almost perfect comparison. And I love that you can have these two guys who are getting the same results, and in some respects not dissimilar in terms of their arsenal, but they're just going about it in completely different ways. So the person that I thought DeGrom and I thought Kershaw, and then I was I tried to go a little bit beyond the obvious, and that's why the Crochet comparison is important, because the place it brought me to, that sort of quiet absolute dominance, and everyone sort of slightly overlooked it until it was just impossible to ignore that this guy is the best. It's Corey Kluber when he was on the Cleveland, and he won the two Cy Youngs. And he just was and no one could really understand how and where did this guy come from. He was a late round selection. He wasn't good when he first started. He was sort of pitching sort of mid-fours, and then all of a sudden something clicked, and he's just by miles the best pitcher in the league. So that was the one that I think your two comparisons are spot on too. But if I was trying to dig a little bit deeper, hopefully he doesn't have the same trajectory as Corey Kluber and end up looking weird and being totally pony on the Yankees in about 6 years' time. But he got two Cy Youngs, so he was laughing.
Absolutely.
No, I like that comparison.
The worry is he flying too close to the sun? He throws so damn hard. We're just almost sort of waiting for that elbow to go. And
he's already had TJ once, hasn't he? Both the
second time's the killer.
Yeah, he had it when he was when he was playing for Erie, I think who I think we might talk about a little bit later in the conversation. Yeah, I think he had TJ when he was at Erie. And obviously Crochet has that as well. He's just ridiculously good. It's just so much fun to watch. There's so many pitches at the moment where it really is a appointment to view. Like Ranger Suarez. What the heck? When did that happen? When did he get all amazing fun to watch? And why are all of these amazing fun to watch pitches on the Phillies? It's great.
No, there is an element of, Skubal feeling like he's in such control. I don't know if you saw, it was highlighted from Sunday Night Baseball that he'd thrown something like 118 consecutive fastballs to start a start. So the very first pitch of the game, he did a fastball 118 consecutive times. And they called this out in a StatCast broadcast about how he always throws a fastball, and about how, what's his name on the Twins who you just mentioned, Rob?
Byron Buxton.
Byron Buxton, thank you. Always swings at the first pitch, and it was kind of like a unstoppable force meets a movable object. What's going to happen? And actually, he threw a changeup, and it was really cool. This kind of idea of he knew that Buxton would be swinging. He threw a changeup, which actually missed the zone by miles. It's a rubbish pitch, but it was just cool that kind of stuff's going through his head. And there was a moment later in the game where he and Buxton smiled at each other after a fly out. He's just having so much fun. And he's so dominant that it's just really, really cool to watch right now. But I guess give it 6 weeks, and Jacob Misiorowski will replace him as the best pitcher in baseball anyway. So no point talking about it.
He's great fun as well, isn't he? Yeah, the Buxton thing was so cool. Where he threw him the changeup, and he just sort of turned around and he went, "Yeah, you looked at the scouting report, pal." I love that.
Game recognized game. And very quickly, I guess Detroit Tigers I'll be the first to say I didn't see this coming. I thought they might be good. I thought they might build off the excellent finish last season, but I did not think they were going to be best record in Major League Baseball with the underlying stats to back it up. Good. Do you guys think they're genuine World Series contenders? They're playing like one right now, right? Should we be looking at them as a team to beat in the American League? What do you think, John?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's them and the Yankees have got more holes for me at the moment. I mean, I think that rotation is a little bit flaky. Although I think, I like Jack Flaherty, and if you got those two at the top of your rotation in a playoff, then you're probably in good stead. They're probably going to be one of the primary buyers around the trading deadline, right? Because they probably want bullpen help. They probably want another bat, and I would say they probably want some starting pitching. But I think that it's just a credit to AJ Hinch and their coaching staff that they've managed to take players who you thought you were going to get some okay. I mean, these players who were decent prospects, like Kerry Carpenter, who they've been absolutely brilliant and for a sustained period. Then they've got Gleyber Torres, who's come in, who was okay on the Yankees. He's been really good. Javi Baez, I mean, to Rob's point, definitely should not be starting over Byron Buxton in the All-Star game, but has been legitimate sensation. Just shows what a talented player he is, that he's been that good in centre field, and also just doesn't look completely lost at the plate anymore. He's still not great, but he's serviceable. So yeah, I do. I think again, it shows that coaching and clubhouse spirit can carry the right set of players an awful long way.
To disagree with that. Yeah, I'm excited to see them. I thought we'd do a quick bit now on the deadline. I think maybe we'll do a live show again. I don't want to tease things that we're not going to be able to do, but I think we'll probably do some content around the trade deadline when it comes around. That'll be fun.
Are you going to go into Dickie Bow on again, Rob?
You're going to get your what?
I'll get my Dickie bow out, yes.
There you go, listeners. Make sure you tune in for that one. So we won't go too deep into trade deadline discussion right now, but I thought it might be fun to very quickly do a run through of some teams and do we think they're buyers or do we think they're sellers? Because we're getting to the point now where it's pick a lane, guys. If you're around 500, what are you going to be? Do you think your team's good enough to go on a run, or are you happy to sit on your hands, trade away a few guys and rebuild for next year? So I've listed out a bunch here. I'm just going to go through them very quickly and you guys tell me. Let's start with the Red Sox. Buyers or sellers, John?
I hope that they're going to sell, but I'm quite worried that Craig Breslow keeps saying that they're going to buy and is a human robot. I think there is, the way that they're playing at the moment, that they stink, and they've got some good players and they should be better than this, but if Aroldis Chapman and Lucas Giolito are still on that squad after the trading deadline, I think it's because they've both been really good, right? And they should be getting a good return for them. I think it's a massive mistake. I really hope they're sellers, but I'd say it's probably still 50-50 right now because I think they've worked themselves into a shoot over Devers.
Yep, sell. I agree, sell. The rest of the AL East is really kicked on. I mean, even the Orioles are picked up now. I think the Blue Jays and the Rays are in an absolute bum fight for that first wild card spot. The Yankees probably going to win the division. I don't think it's. I mean, yes, it's winnable. Of course, we're only halfway through, but I don't think it is as winnable for the Red Sox in their position. I think what they should do is they should clear a bit of the deadwood. And line up what they're going to do with first base. Cycle some guys through, try some stuff out, find something. Get those bits done because right now, with Bregman out, with Casas out, with Cutter Crawford's accidental wanking injury, all these things that these are not helping the team right now, and they're fairly long term stuff. So yeah,
I think the other thing is that they've probably got the most players who you could get a good return. Looking at those teams who are kind of below, just about below the water. This is the thing about the wild card, is it makes it difficult, right? It makes it difficult for a team to commit one way or another because they're close enough that you could eyeball it and go, oh, maybe. But they've also, if they look at it reasonably, Chapman has been absolutely brilliant. Justin Wilson has been brilliant. Giolito's been brilliant. Someone could take Bregman if they think he's going to opt out. I think they want to try and re-sign him, but if it looks like he doesn't want to re-sign and he's going to opt out, look, you're going to get you're not going to get Roman Anthony and Marcelo Mayer back, but you're going to fill a lot of the gaps that they're leaving. So it's a no-brainer for that one for me. But then again, I just don't know how Craig Breslow's brain works.
I vote sell. Yeah,
They've got the perfect. Yeah, sorry.
give those young guys some playing time. Clear out because they've got so many players on their roster. It's hard to find playing time for without the injuries. So I think just give those young guys playing time. Let them figure it out in the majors. Try again next year.
Going to get some reps of Massa. He's on his way back. That Massa and Rob Ref Snyder platoon at DH.
Rob Ref Snyder.
That's what
How
we
is he
need.
still playing?
Shivers down the spine. Right, next up, Orioles. It's got to be a sell, right? Surely.
Who are they selling?
Wow, they've
Who
got
are they
those
selling?
younguns, isn't it? They could sell a couple of younguns if they really wanted to, or they've probably still got some prospects hiding away that we know nothing about.
Rutschman?
But I'm not selling if I'm the Orioles. I'm just sitting on it. Like everything about the Orioles should have worked this year, other than the pitching. Sit on it. Upgrade the pitching staff in the off season. Hopefully, it will just fall a little bit better for them. I don't know what the hell went on with the beginning of the season. Was it Brandon Hyde? Was it not? I don't know. But just sit on what they've got. It's all there. They just need to add a couple of bits of pitching. They don't need brilliant pitching. They need some okay pitching. That's all they need. So just pick some of that up in the off season. But just sit on what you got. Don't touch it. Most of it is what you need already, and then go into next year.
I think I would sell, but it's kind of a bit like what are you getting for Zach Eflin? What are you getting for the burnt husk of Charlie Morton? Or,
He did better recently.
This year's Felix Bautista, who is nowhere near as good as the pre-injury Felix Bautista. I mean, they probably will sell, I think, right? And they'll probably get, some all right talent back for them, but they're not going to sell Rutschman. They're not going to sell Westberg. They're not going to sell Cowser, are they? I mean, like, what's the point?
They're a bit stuck, aren't they? Because, they don't have much they can sell. And the young guys, if anything, have stepped backwards this year. And it's like, you're not going to give them away now. You're going to have to stick with them. But, like, do you just run it back next year with the same team again and hope for different results? Like, I guess.
No, I think what you do next year is actually sign some
get a
pitchers
rotation.
then. Yeah.
Which is why you don't sell Eflin now. Like, he's at least a passable number 4.
Maybe not.
Once Rodriguez is back, it'll be fine.
Yeah. Just
Let's do
sign
the Twins.
Nathan Eovaldi and get on with it, man.
Twins, guys, I'm not going to profess to have watched much Twins baseball this year, but they seem to have been pretty disappointing, even though all their oft-injured players have mostly been healthy. Are we sticking? Are we selling? Are we buying? What are we doing?
I don't care.
Don't care.
Sorry, Twins fans. I only have one rooting interest in the Twin Cities, and it is for Byron Buxton. I just think, that's the only thing I really care about on the Minnesota Twins, because he's ace, and I don't really want him. You guys had that brilliant conversation whilst I was away about players who just look weird in another jersey. As soon as he's in any other, I'm going to be like, nope, that's just memory hold. No, thank you. I don't know. I've got no strong feel. I've got no strong views. But again, who are they selling? Not Buxton, surely.
Get rid of Joe Ryan.
Joe Ryan.
Get rid of Joe Ryan. Specifically underneath a combine harvester.
They've got a few guys, it's fine. But I think that the main thing about the Twins for me is that they are being sold or are trying to be sold. They're not going to spend anything whilst they're trying to be sold. So, if you're going to do your clearing your decks, stock up your farm system, do it now, because you're not going to spend anything at this point. So, yeah, sell it all, burn it down.
It is. Texas Rangers, another team that's been disappointing. Are we buying? Are we selling? They've got an aging roster. I don't know what they can sell.
Not selling Simeon, are they? Not with that contract.
They've got some trouble on their hands in future years, but are we trying to recoup what we can, or are we doubling down and hoping DeGrom carries us to a World Cup berth?
I just don't think that franchise knows any other way. They are definitely buying. It's just, yeehaw, everything's bigger in Texas, including Chris Young. They are definitely buying.
I think they
no
have
doubt
one
about
lucky year does not a team make. I think they sit on it. This is probably about where they should be. They've got to be spending a stupid amount of money already on their middle infield, which isn't quite up to scratch this year. So I don't think they're adding more to that payroll for what? I mean, like, what are you going to do? Are you going to go out and get yourself a new second baseman and replace Simeon? Of course you're not. So where and what? And so
Rob,
I
think you just need to rewatch that clip of Adolis Garcia hulking up and think again, mate. Just get that man some reinforcements. It's all going to be fine.
More Garcias. Bigger Garcias.
There's no such thing.
I'd team fully just bulky chaps called Garcia.
Just-
There's got to be enough of them
Just
around.
massive guys hot dogging. Just going to go down Muscle Beach. There he is, Terry Bollea. He'll do. Ben's like, who's that?
Absolutely over my head.
That's Hulk Hogan, Ben. That's his real name.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought he was
There you
christened
go.
Hulk Hogan. I didn't have them on my
Beautiful
list,
baby
but, but we should probably talk about the Seattle Mariners because Jerry's not going to sit on his hands, is he? He's going to be buying or selling or both every day between now and the trade deadline, surely.
I mean, God knows. I mean, look, what is going to happen with the Mariners is they're going to need 4 bats. And they're just going to go, yeah, well, we're not trading any pitchers.
They can't because they're all broken.
I think Jerry's had a personality transplant, like quite genuinely. Like he's gone from this nickel and diming, what would Jerry DiPoto do in the trades meme, to like sclerosis. Just can't do it anymore. It's broken. Like having the opportunity to trade one very good pitcher from his 98 very good pitchers for one good hitter, not called Cal Raleigh. Can't do it, mate. Not interested.
Imagine that team without Cal Raleigh this year.
It would stink.
Oof.
Donovan Salat, just Donny Barrels.
They do have one exciting prospect sat behind Cal Raleigh who could be a trade chip if they wanted to go out and get an impactful bat. Maybe. King Harry
Trade into
himself.
the Red Sox, please. Catching batter with the captain Carlos, Harry Ford. Let's do it.
Okay.
He's been
Smart.
amazing this year, hasn't he? After he didn't do so well in AA, but he's had an absolutely astonishing year.
I want him to keep doing well, but not quite so well that he can't play for us because he's got major league. So just hold on a little bit, Harry. Just keep on that level, and then after your next go, then go for it.
He is locked in. Why do you think Brad Marcelino got that job? Because he's the one that found Harry Ford. That's that you know, very, very qualified and incredibly eminent and very nice man. But I mean, if you wanted a calling card, I'm the man who found the best player in the history of Great Britain baseball. Is probably quite a good one.
Very good
Worst
one.
things on your CV, yeah.
National League, Atlanta Braves, they waving the white flag.
Oh, they should.
No, absolutely not. Again, it's a decent team. Buy a new outfield like they do every year, and then on even-numbered years, they'll have a good year. Odd-numbered years, they won't. So just refresh the outfield, go again next year. Bye.
They're not as bad as the Red Sox, but they also are in that similar position where they've got players that people will want. Like people will want Chris Sale, people will want Sean Murphy. They're not Acuna's not going, Alves is not going, Strider's not going. But they've got these guys on shorter deals who would be massively impactful players in a playoff team. So they are possibly in that same catch-22 as the Red Sox, where they feel instinctively like this is actually a good team, it's just not playing well, and we should be buyers. But also, you know, they could set the market if they wanted to. I would sell, but I also see why Rob would make the counter-argument.
I think I'd buy. I believe in the talent, and like Rob said, like just try and find lightning in a bottle in the outfield like you always do, and see where it takes you. You might get your wild card spot, and then who knows? Cincinnati Reds.
This year it won't.
Buy or sell?
I'm like John on this one with the Twins in that I just don't care. I really don't care about the Cincinnati Reds at this point. Ellie's wow, fantastic. I want to see more Ellie, but I'm very myopic in what I want to see from the Reds, and that is it.
You just want to see.
Fine,
I just want to see
more.
Ellie De La Cruz and Hunter Green, and that's it, basically.
Hunter Green, to be fair, yes, absolutely. I want more Hunter Green as well. Yeah, that is a very, very good point. But again, I find him a scary watch because I'm half expecting his arm to come with the ball each time. So but in that division at the moment, a slight upgrade sees them in it. You know, they're not that far out. Yeah, if they put a little bit somewhere, but where? Yeah, maybe some outfielders again. They should buy, but don't put the house on it. You know, just tinker, but tinker upward.
Chase Burns is fun when he's not getting rocked by the Red Sox.
Yeah, that's true. I think specifically by Wilshire Abreu, that was amazing. I think they should probably buy. Like, when was the last time that the Reds, leading into a trading deadline, had a record above 500? I think Johnny Cueto and Scooter Gannett was still on the team. So,
Late
know,
off.
Four home runs in a game, Scooter Jeanette. Yeah.
these windows do not open regularly. So I think they should take it. I mean, I know they're
Yeah.
quite far out of the wildcard position, but,
Yeah. I think so. This
Are they
team feels
that
like
far
a
out?
team destined to end the season like 78 and 84, regardless of what they do at the deadline.
yeah, this is true.
Arizona
2 games out.
Diamondbacks,
I mean,
scuffling Diamondbacks, just got swept by the Marlins Diamondbacks.
I think they probably stand pat. Yeah.
Yep. Agreed.
Just
Fully agreed.
Stay where they are.
Yep.
Do the old Heim Bloom deadline. Oh, we're neither buyers nor sellers. We're just going to make a load of confusing moves, and somehow Eric Hosmer's on the team now.
Isn't Zach Gallen an
Yeah.
upcoming free agent? Can you get anything for him?
Zach Gallen's been rubbish this year, though, but I don't think you can
Yeah.
count Zach Gallen as a rubbish pitcher. He's having a bad year. So, re-sign him, keep him around. I think that's exactly the kind of guy you want to keep as a centre core part of your team. But, keep your Martes around. Keep your Corbin Carrolls, even though I find him a very peculiar man to look at. I don't dislike him. He just find him very peculiar to look at, especially when he's running. But that's neither here nor there. Keep going. Again, the team is everything it needs to be. It's about the rest of the division that is the problem. That's a plastic flower, you stupid cat. Stop trying to eat it. Sorry, a digression there. Yes, the D-backs should stay as they are. I agree with John.
Great. Well, the last one I had was the Miami Marlins. I saw that Pete was looking at flights to Miami in October on Twitter earlier today. So some people are believing in this win streak they're on. They will be selling if they even have anything to sell, won't they? Unless this win streak continues. Who knows?
What have they got that they could actually sell? Like, come on. Of course they're always...
The sculpture.
The sculpture, yeah. They are always selling, like, all the time.
Sandy? Does anyone even want him?
Sandy's not been great.
he's been
Looks,
bad.
Rob, your camera's died. I think
I know my cat just literally pulled it out. I do
There you go.
apologise.
Well done, cat. Yeah, Sandy's not been great. And then, the players that have actually been quite good have all been like the younger ones, haven't they? So, like, what?
Yeah.
What? I was going to say,
Sellers,
why
yeah.
would they sell them? But this is the Marlins. This is what they do. This is, Christian Yelich. This is Giancarlo Stanton, Jake Berger. Oh, these are going to be part of the next good Marlins team. Incorrect. There's not going to be another good Marlins team ever.
Well, let's move on to the final bit of the pod then, and let's talk Erie Seawolves. I don't know if either of you guys have followed this more closely than I have. Robbie, I think you were the one who shared yesterday in our group chat the article that was on MLB.com that caught our attention. Do you feel comfortable talking through the story and why it caught our attention?
Not particularly. I just sort of kind of saw it. Okay, so basically, there was a bit of a competition going on. It was on the John Oliver was talking about rebranding a minor league team, and the Seawolves. The fact that they are absolutely nowhere near the sea, it came up and was an entertaining part of his show. So they had this competition. And the Seawolves emailed into his show, and on that list of things was a list of reasons as to why they should be the team that gets the rebrand. And they won. The thing of note from that on that email was actually a shout out to the fact that they are, and if you would cast yourself back to insert number of podcasts here, we actually elected the Erie Seawolves as the official British minor league team, and that made it into the email. And subsequently, if you follow the story on the MLB app, you will find a link to our podcast on there. It was quite exciting that we got that that nod from the big time. But yeah, so that's the story in a nutshell. I haven't really followed it much closer than that.
Yeah, I haven't either. It's one of those things where it's occasionally come up in my Instagram feed because, baseball and John Oliver is sort of in the middle of some of my interests. Hey, I like satire and maybe have a certain political outlook and also like baseball. I might like a John Oliver clip where he's talking about baseball, which he does fairly often, actually. I think he's a big Mets fan, isn't he? So, yeah, it's come up, but I wouldn't say I knew an awful lot more than Rob. I had seen that he had selected the Seawolves a few weeks ago. For the reasons that Rob outlined, primarily that they're called the Seawolves and they're nowhere near the sea. But yeah, I didn't know that we had played even a tiny role in it until yesterday when Rob shared that link where we are referenced as, I think, the 4th of 11 reasons why John Oliver should be partaking and working with the team there. So huge thanks to Greg Coleman, who's the general manager and president of the Seawolves, and Greg Gagne, who's their voice and media lead, for including us in that. We haven't done anything with the Seawolves for a few years now, but we had such great fun picking that, and they were such great sports and a bunch of really nice people to work with and get to know a bit, who've always done well by us. And it was fun to see them getting a bit of rub in the US national spotlight, and good to know that they were using the tenuous link that they had to the UK to try and win the affections of one of the bigger cultural exports that we've had to that country in the last few years. So yeah, and I think it's the Erie Moon Mammoths. That's what they're going to be known as their alternate identity from here on in. So. Yeah, we'll have to get ourselves some Erie Moon Mammoths merch for sure.
Yeah, the rebrand is fun. It's a big woolly mammoth and a moon, bizarrely, and it's all sort of purple and I love the color scheme. It's very fun, almost Rockies-esque. Not to doom them this early, but yeah, they're playing a game as the Moon Mammoths on July 19th, which will be great fun. And yeah, I just thought it was cool that they kind of hark back to that fun thing that we did a few years back now. I think, John, that was probably you who did most of the work in that whole fun Twitter competition. I know it was you who wrote the article that MLB.com linked to, and the interview with Greg Coleman, who was a really fun guest. So yeah, just a nice, quirky minor league baseball bit of news that somehow found its way back to us. So yeah, hopefully that whole rebrand goes well, and we would appreciate any UK-based fans who are able to see what goes down there and represent.
Yeah, we haven't
official team.
We haven't ever. I know that our buddy from the Red Sox group, Adam Perry, managed to make his way out to Erie, but none of us have managed to get there, and we've always been promised that we could throw a first pitch if we went to Erie. So maybe we have to hand over that responsibility to John Oliver. I guess he's like our designated British person. I'm sure that they were going to let John Oliver throw our first pitch anyway, but let's just say he's doing it on our behalf.
He's got our blessing.
Yeah, very. He's, in some respects, slightly more august than us. Not in others, though. Tom Pringle's got a longer head for a start.
Eerie big head.
Rob, your cat has absolutely crucified your camera.
Absolutely knackered it. I have tried it in every USB hole. It seems to be not getting any power. I don't know what the hell's gone on here.
Oh, well.
Dog ate my homework. Cat destroyed my webcam.
Yeah.
Rob, were you going to try... I don't know if this was you who popped this into our itinerary, but you're going to try and end us on a very depressing note here, topic-wise.
Oh, yeah,
I might give the floor to you if you'd like to just quickly riff on that.
Yeah, not wanting to end on an absolute downer, but many people may have noticed the Wander Franco trial has come to its conclusion. And it... Look, I don't know the ins and outs of the Dominican Republic's legal system, but it seems that there's been an absolute farce of a hypocrisy here to do with a man who's got a bit of money getting a very, very short sentence compared to other people around him. So, essentially, the ruling is, yes, he is absolutely, it was inappropriate sexual relations with a minor, and he's got himself a 2-year suspended sentence. So essentially, as long as he doesn't do it again, he just walks scot-free. In the same breath, the mother of the girl involved, no saint of course, absolutely, what she done was absolutely heinous. She's got 10 years behind bars, which it just seems like the bloke with the cash here has managed to dodge it. And she hasn't. Now, he's got another court case coming up soon to do with weapons charges. But look, at the end of the day, it's done now. We know this awful human being is not going to come anywhere near baseball again. I'm sure Major League Baseball are going to do their investigations. Given that it's been the court of law now, he's been absolutely said, yes, this guy is a sexual predator. He's not going to come back near the game, and that's the absolute right thing to do. But the fact that he's still able to walk the streets without actually going behind bars for something as awful as what he did is to my mind absolutely disgusting. So it's a horrible way to end this podcast, but I think it needs to be marked upon that we've got to call out this kind of hypocrisy when we see it, because money should not be able to buy you the way out of this the way it hasn't for this girl's mother. You know, they both should absolutely be doing time for this, to my mind anyway. And this bloke, whilst his career's over, and rightly so, he's out and about. He's doing his thing. How long is it before we see him in the Mexican leagues? Maybe NPB. You know, I don't know. I don't know what it would take to get into those countries. But it's just not right. Something doesn't feel just here. This feels icky, and I really don't like it.
Yeah, it's not the first, and I fear won't be the last time that things like this happen, where guys who are rich and powerful kind of get away with stuff that they shouldn't. A tale as old as time in many ways, but yeah, like you say, unpleasant given what came out during that trial, that he is possibly going to be able to walk away scot-free, and I'm sure leaves a sour taste in the mouth of anyone who has been following him or the Rays or this story. So not a pleasant way for it to end.
Or this podcast, not a pleasant way for it to end, but there we go.
Anyone got a fun
that you
thing
were doing
for us to
that
end on?
behind the cloak of anonymity, just it just made it had more heft, mate.
The fact that you can't see my angry face.
Exactly. Yeah. We just, you did this from like a black thing that just had a camera that wasn't working on it. So,
Serious Rob.
Yeah. See, I enjoyed Serious Rob. The rarely viewed Serious Rob. It's
not viewed this time.
Things have got quite difficult if we're getting Serious Rob. No, you're completely right, mate, and absolutely spot on that we should pin that down.
Well, I'll end on a slightly lighter note in that there is some great content going onto our website, and that people should check it out as usual. In the last few days, we've had some articles on the globalization of Major League Baseball by Marcus Lim, which is a great read. We've got a really fun article about Cal Raleigh by Carl Taylor that folks should go to and check out. And I know that Brett and the editorial team and Gav and others are looking for people to send in submissions for the My Favorite Player series that has been the kind of on-off feature of the site for a few years now. I think all of us on this call have probably written an article contributing to that at various points, but it is a fun way to just show off your fandom. So do get in touch with us on the social channels, and we will put you in touch with the right people to get your writing into the right place. So yeah, make sure to do that. So I think that's it for us. We will be back again very soon, I imagine, to discuss everything else that's happening in the world of baseball between now and the All-Star break and the trade deadline, which we'll be back for, and maybe to discuss any of the news that comes out around that MLB Hackney event, which we're very much looking forward to. Thanks very much, John. Thanks very much, Rob, behind the camera, and we will see you guys very soon.
Thanks very much, Tampa or Chicago, the cat, for your interference.
Bye.
See you all soon. Bye.
Bye.